Right, I just noticed as I pressed record on my phone that as I put my finger up, I got a little bit of the shakes going on. I have hit my carbon allowance hard this weekend. It's been a bit intense, but today is a day of rest before Benidorm tomorrow. So it's relentless. At least I've got one day off, though I am about to go to a funeral and I may go to the wake, and then I've got to meet Vivian in the pub after that. So yeah, it may be a heavy carbon allowance day again today. So thank you for all your offers of letting me have your carbon allowances. Got a little bit of a wobble there. Let's wedge it with something. An Audi car key. Oh, that's better. There we go. That's better. Now, see? Perfect. Anyway, I got up this morning and thought, I'll go through all my messages that I've got over the weekend. So I went through them all. Thank you very much, you wonderful contributors, for giving me the material with which I work sometimes. And this was a really interesting one, because not only is the guy a milk floater, he is full on royalty. He is floaterati royalty. This guy's done thousands, hundreds of thousands of kilometres in milk floats around Europe. Why? I don't know, but he seems to be enjoying himself. So this is a YouTuber called Uziko or nothing to do with Zico, the Brazilian footballer from the 70s and 80s. No relation. It's got a U at the start. It's more like Usyk than Zico. But nevertheless, he's done a raft of videos. He owned a BMW i3, racked up 150,000 kilometres in that. And now he's got an ID4 and he's racked up 150,000 kilometres in that. So anyway, in this video, he's in his ID4. And the most amusing thing for me is he's clearly from some sort of Germanic area. I don't know really what nationality he is, but he can't say the word voltage. He says voltage. And every time he says voltage, it made me laugh. It's worth watching just for that. Voltage. Oh, look, I have the voltage there. The voltage is not very good. Yeah, it's the little things in life. So anyway, his ID4 has had major battery issues. And he said, here's the thing. He first went in June 2023 with 70,000 kilometres on the clock. Is that about 40,000 miles? With a knackered battery. And had a new battery put in. And then he discovered that in America and Canada, 22,000 of these have been recalled for exactly that fault. But not, weirdly, in Europe. There is no recall. However, it's exactly the same code, fault, everything, as all the ones that have been recalled in America and Canada. And his thing is this going to become Batterygate, like VW had with Dieselgate, where they really, really try and cover it up? Now, this is not the first time this has happened, and I've been a personal victim of this. Through my own ignorance, I might add, because if I'd done my own work, I wouldn't have done it. I bought a Audi A4 Avant, 2-litre TDI, 2007 plate. And I bought an automatic one with a CVT gearbox in it. Now, what I discovered after I bought it, and after I paid a lot of money for it, was that the CVT gearbox is indeed a piece of shit. And here's the thing. These gearboxes went wrong right across the board in every car they were put in. And they're well known. You can Google it. There is thousands and thousands of pages on how the CVT gearbox eats itself from within. Mine was a complete rebuild. Complete rebuild of the gearbox, plus new dual mass flywheel, clutch kit, etc., etc. Total bill was 3,300 quid. Back then I paid £7,000 for the car. So it wasn't my greatest moment, especially when I found out that with a bit of research, I wouldn't touch a car with a barge pole. However, it happened. You live and learn. And I've never bought another one since. I've bought hundreds of Audis and sold them since. But if it's got the CVT gearbox in it, I don't touch it. The moral of this story is that should have been a recall. And they should have recalled all of them because they knew that it was faulty. But they didn't. They got away with it. And as a result, people like me ended up shelling out thousands, and it became an absolute disaster for everyone that bought one. But there was no recall. And then obviously there was Dieselgate, where they flexibly manipulated the emissions tests and lied about the fuel efficiencies, etc., etc. And again, they didn't get away with this one. And they're about, well, it hasn't happened yet. Nobody's actually had a payout. They've allocated £3.1 billion for it or something stupid. But nobody's been paid out yet. And they will keep kicking it down the legal road, pardon me, for as long as they possibly can. However, what Uzico is saying is that this, in the ID4, could become the new Batterygate instead of Dieselgate. Because, as I have said many times, the VW ID4 shares its platform with a lot of different cars. Skoda Enyaq, Ford Explorer, Ford Capri, Audi Q4, and there is another one as well, Cupra Born, possibly. But there are 5 or 6 models, and they've all got those batteries in them. They are all exactly the same platform on the floor plan. So if they recall one, they got to recall them all. And that is huge. Right across Europe, that is huge. And he goes into great detail in this video. I mean, granted, he might be German because he is a bit boring and it is a bit monotonous, but just look out for the word voltage and it will like cheer you up a bit. But it's worth watching because he goes into great detail and he's got all the print. He must be German. I've come to the conclusion he must be German because he goes into great detail. He's got all the printouts. He's got all the fault codes. He's got all the battery statements. He goes into the percentages of what they've lost and everything else. And it's very encyclopedic. And he covers all the angles because it went wrong on 71,000 kilometres in June 2023. And he took it back to Volkswagen. They fixed it. And then it happened again in November 2024, another 46,000 kilometres later. He does rack up the miles. What's that, 46? Yeah, he's doing 20 odd grand a year, isn't he? 20 odd thousand miles a year. Because then it happened again on 150,000 kilometres this year, right now. So he's had 3 complete battery rebuilds in this car. And he's done his own work. And he knows that it's the same in all the ones across North America. And they're exactly the same car all across Europe. But for some reason, no recall. Yet. So, are we on the verge of the next big scandal? I've got to admit, right, when you look at it, and I'm a big fan, as you well know, I'm a big fan of Audi. The Audi A4 sat just behind me there. I'm a big fan of Volkswagen. The Golf R is one of the best cars on the road right now that you could buy from a showroom, without question. It's stunning. The R32 is a wonderful piece of chavness. And they make good cars. But these scandals keep happening to them. Again and again and again. And it is VAG more than anyone else it seems to happen to. And VAG that seems to either get caught or get away with it is 50-50. And I suppose they're just edging their bets. But it does bother me a bit that they're banging these things out and they know there's faults with them. And rather than deal with it and hold your hands up, they cover it up because it's easier and financially much better for them to try and cover it up all the time. And now it appears to have entered the world of milk floatery. And the floaterati will not be happy with this, but if it blows up in about 15 years' time, there may be a legal case and you may get some of your money back that you've lost in depreciation. So it's not all bad for the floaters, is it? I mean, they're sat there just literally burning £20 notes at the moment. I think you'll find with the money I've saved on fuel, you've lost. Yes, but I fill up from my say you've lost. I think no, you've lost. If you've bought a float, you've lost. That's the end of it. There are no winners buying floats. I just lease mine. Well, yeah, if you lease it, you're just throwing money down the drain anyway. And if you're leasing it for £300 a month, and then you give it back after 3 years, what have you saved? Because you've spent 10 grand. So you've lost 10 grand. Oh, but I've driven a car for 3 years that's cost me nothing. You've lost 10 grand. Buy a car for £1,000, run it for 3 years for 3 grand, and you've made 6 grand on what you would have spent with your 10 grand in the first place. So you haven't won. But, nice bit of good news for the floaterati coming up. You might get your money back eventually. I mean, it's something to look forward to, isn't it? And when I say your money back, you won't get your money back. You might get a small amount of compensation, which by the time Purple Igloo or whoever it is that are doing all these Dieselgates and everything, and then the financial claims for car finance. I mean, how many years has it been going on for? How long does it take before you actually get anything back? How many years do we have to wait for PPI? I mean, we're talking decades. So whilst it's a lovely headline grabbing story and, has provided me with some material, at the end of the day, floaters, you're still fucked. So, I mean, it's a win-win really all round and out. There is no bad news in this story. We've got a German who's not happy with his car. He can't say the word Volt. I mean, it's a feel-good Monday story. It's a pre-Benidorm Livener. What a lovely thought that is. 24 degrees in Benidorm at the moment. Shame I'm only there for 48 hours. More of that tomorrow. So there you have it. Is Batterygate the new Dieselgate? And is Dieselgate the old Batterygate? Or is Dieselgate the new CVT gearbox gate? Or was it the old PPI scandal gate thing? Who knows? Nevertheless, it turns out that churned out all over Europe are a load of faulty milk floats that need recalling that probably won't be recalled even though they've been recalled all the rest of the world. Which, can only bring me to one conclusion. Future, my arse.